Is it just a coincidence that the comet of the century is flying through the sky as the biggest Middle East war suddenly explodes? Michael Snyder reports. Let's remember this comet was only found last year. All of a sudden, everything has changed. Israeli troops have entered southern Lebanon. Iran fired hundreds of missiles into Israel, and it appears that all-out conflict has arrived. The war does not seem to have commonly accepted name yet, and so I'm just, he says, going to start calling it the biggest Middle East war until somebody out there comes up with something better. Is it just a coincidence that this war has suddenly exploded as the comet of the century is flying past our planet? I went through the details of Iran's attack on Israel in an article that I posted earlier. And let's remember that today is the beginning of Rosh Hashanah as well. And Yom Kippur is coming up in about 10 days. So this is the biggest holiday of the Hebrews. So he says, I went through the details of Iran's attack on Israel, an article that I posted, and I will not repeat all of the information. Since I posted that article, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu publicly stated that Iran has made a big mistake and that the Iranians will pay for what they've done. He said Iran made a big mistake tonight and it will pay for it. The regime in Iran does not understand our determination to defend ourselves and our determination to retaliate against our enemies, he said. That sounds rather ominous, so what should we expect? Well, one Israeli news source is reporting that the IDF intends to conduct powerful airstrikes throughout the Middle East, following Iran's missile barrage, which we saw more than 180 rockets launched across Israel. The IDF vowed Tuesday night to carry out powerful airstrikes throughout the Middle East. The military confirmed that the Air Force remains fully operational. Additionally, Israeli and U.S. defense systems effectively intercepted many of the incoming missiles, with the IDF reporting close cooperation in detection and interception efforts. Senior Israeli officials vowed Tuesday evening that Jerusalem will not remain silent following Iran's large-scale missile attack. A defense official promised a severe response, while another Israeli official warned what Iran has suffered so far is only a fraction of what it will face now. Of course, the IDF has already been bombing pro-Iranian targets all over the Middle East, and ultimately I expect something even more dramatic. Could Israel strike Iran itself? That is certainly possible. Naftali Bennett is even suggesting that this is a perfect time to destroy Iran's nuclear program. With emphasis added, former Prime Minister Naftali Bennett calls for Israel to act now against Iran's nuclear program, saying the Islamic Republic made a terrible mistake with its major missile attack on Israel this evening. Israel has now its greatest opportunity in 50 years to change the face of the Middle East. Bennett writes in an English language post on X, we must act now to destroy Iran's nuclear program, its central energy facilities, and to fatally cripple this terrorist regime. Such an attack would definitely trigger an unstoppable chain of events. Iran has warned that there will be a crushing attack of Israel if Israel responds, and the Iranians also seem to be threatening the United States. Iran's armed forces warn against any direct military intervention in support of Israel in response to Iran's missile attack. In the event of direct intervention by countries supporting the regime Israel, their centers and interests in the regime will also face a powerful attack by the armed forces of the Islamic Republic of Iran. The armed forces say in a statement quoted by Fars news agency. The Biden administration promises Iran that there would be severe consequences if the Iranians launch missiles at Israel. It's put up or shut up time for the Biden administration. As all of this has been going on, the Comet of the century has been putting on a spectacular show in the heavens. Comet Tsuchinshan Atlas is putting on a delightful early morning display for those fortunate enough to catch a glimpse of the spectacle before it's lost in the glare of the rising sun. But it's not just the early bird with good seats to the show. Astronauts on the International Space Station ISS are also enjoying the spectacle. We're being told that there will be 2 windows for those of us in the northern hemisphere to view this comet. Weather permitting, everyone in the northern hemisphere should be able to see Comet A3 in October. And there are 2 windows to catch it, one from now through October 2nd and another from October 12th to 30th, according to a press release from Massey. Interestingly, the first window ends as the festival of Rosh Hashanah is beginning, and the second window starts on Yom Kippur. Isn't that strange? And this is more than coincidence, all these dates. Now, it's now being projected that Yom Kippur will be the time when this comet is the closest to our planet and when it will also be the brightest. If the comet survives perihelion, it will make its way back to Earth. According to Star Walk Space, the comet will be brightest on October 12th when it makes its closest approach to our planet. During this time, Comet Tuchinson-Atlas, or A3 for short, will be located relatively high above the horizon in the evening sky. That is some coincidence, right? On top of everything else, a ring of fire solar eclipse will occur on Wednesday. For the first time since April's solar eclipse, during which 11 contagious states in the US were in the path of totality, some will be able to see another eclipse this coming week. This noteworthy event, called an annular eclipse or a ring of fire eclipse, will be visible over parts of South America on Wednesday, October 2nd. A partial eclipse will also be visible in parts of the world. At the time of this eclipse, the sun will already be down in Israel, and the festival of Rosh Hashanah will have commenced. Amazingly, the first solar eclipse that occurred in 2024 happened on the first day of the first month on the biblical calendar, and the second solar eclipse that will occur in 2024 will happen on the first day of the 7th month on the biblical calendar, Rosh Hashanah. These 2 solar eclipses will be exactly 6 months apart on the biblical calendar, and they both fall on very important dates. That's more than a coincidence. I don't know what the statistics are on that, but this is mind-boggling. Now, the fall festival begins on the first day of the 7th month, and throughout the fall festivals, the comet of the century will be making history in the skies above our heads. Meanwhile, here on Earth, everyone is bracing for what comes next in the Middle East. I do not believe that this is a coincidence that all-out war, the comet of the century, a ring of fire, solar eclipse, and the fall festivals are all happening at the same time. As I detail in my brand new book entitled Why, God has been directing the course of human history for thousands of years, and he continues to do so today. What we are witnessing right now should be a major league wake-up call for all of us, but for the moment, most of the population still appears to be in a very deep state of sleep. Now, this is by Michael Snyder on End of the American Dream. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. About the author, Michael Snyder's new book entitled Why is available in paperback and for Kindle on Amazon. He's also written 8 other books available on Amazon, including Chaos, End of the End Times, 7-Year Apocalypse, Lost Prophecies, Future America, The Beginning of the End, and Living a Life That Really Matters. When you purchase any of Michael's books, you help to support the work that he's doing. You can also get his articles by email as soon as he publishes them by subscribing to his Substack newsletter. Michael has published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, and The Most Important News, and he always freely and happily allows others to republish those articles on their own websites. These are such troubled times and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, we strongly urge you to invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. Support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.